Dun, 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 dun. The Hatred Guy of Sinfulness from the Helsing OST, not the Helsing OVA, the old one, the one that came out in like the early 2000s. And that's important because we're looking at the Sennheiser, oh, gentle, be gentle, HD565 Ovations, which are as old as dirt. How old? I've been trying to look up like specs or someone who's got like a history page in this. And the closest I could find is this audio review site. This first comment, I've had these 17 years now, and that post was made in 2012. So, I mean, old. A lot of the things I see complaints about are, well, they don't make these anymore, and by the way, they don't make these anymore, and Sennheiser should have kept making these. But everything in the old 500 series was replaced, hi Chewbacca, with the, she's a girl, by the way. Chewbacca's a girl, right? You're a lady. You're an old lady. She's like 15. You don't poop on things unless I tell you to. Anyway, they were replaced with the HD600, which has been around forever. Like, this is dirt old. This is older dirt old. This is like, I'm amazed they're still running. I'm trying to be real gentle with them in both how I'm powering them and the... Did you just fart? Holy fuck. This review is already going great. Oh, God. I may have to restart it. No, we're going to power through this. This is a Z reviews, damn it. And even though I'm giving a touching history lesson, sometimes cats fart, all right? She's old. HD600s are older than dirt. They don't smell like cat shit, that's for sure. And I painted them. They have this custom paint job because I love them so much. And I keep reading things about the 565 Ovations, and everyone's like, oh man, these, they're saying these. I didn't have to say these. But I picked the wallpaper because she's the oldest person in my wallpaper list. She's like 600 years old. And these feel like they're about 600 years old. The guy sent it to me because he says, oh, they're so close to HD600s. He can't believe how close they are. They're not. Not to my pair. There's a definite lack of low end compared to my HD600s. My 600s are warmer and narrower and probably tonally more accurate. But that doesn't mean these aren't more enjoyable in certain aspects, because that's what we're going to talk about. I've got the Solaris turned on. I've got the Rebel amp turned on, although that doesn't need to warm up. I've got the Dark Voice turned on. I got both 789s lit up. We are going to have a little bit of a emotional journey back in time to when Sennheiser made headphones that didn't clamp you to death. Because that's basically, like, if we look at them, like, this is the default clamp. Look, oh God. And I'm sure, being used forever has sort of broken them in. But mine aren't exactly new, and they're still like, kill you. We could see the similarities with the 4 things on top, although I think he's replaced this. That's the only way that these would be this new, is if those were replaced. Mine are starting to wear real bad. They're tearing and wearing because they're old. And this is even older. But the shape, the overall shape, and the way the drivers are mounted are, if you could see through that grill, it's pretty close. By the way, that's the worst L I've ever seen. That's your L. Instead of having it here, it's there. It just feels retro. It feels like late 80s, early 90s retro. Made in Ireland. All great Sennheisers have been made in Ireland or Germany. These were not expensive, according to what I read. And again, I'm going posts from the early 2010s. I only paid $150 for mine, or pounds. I forget what it was. Dollars or pounds, wherever they were in the world. And this feels like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. These are like $300 new. I'm going to obviously link to the new ones. And I understand Sennheiser's shift, but this would be nice to still have Sennheiser. That's the thing. By the way, I've adorned this with the Viking weave cable, which that looks like it's coming out. I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, this was handmade. It's like a 70-hour cable that Viking we've put together with the copper block and everything. It's been a while since you've seen it, because really I don't have a need to go 1/4 inch output to my Sennheisers very often. Although, I could just run balance this, and I can run balance everything but the dark voice. So I gave them the nod. And what are our indicators? So there's L, there's Sennheiser, there's 565 Ovation, this grill. This is completely blocked. Like the whole upper left portion is just, they don't even give a shit. Same thing here, only reverse. It does have an R by the plug, which is actually, I don't see the actual, like, delineations by the plug, which would be where you'd want to put it. It actually feels lighter. Like, I'm going to give this a little more weight. There's just more plastic here. Like, this is plastic, and then it's doubled up plastic from the plastic behind the plastic. The pads are awfully similar. I'm pretty sure the original owner has changed the pads. Nothing can go this long without a pad change. Nothing. There is a difference in how this... Actually, you know what? It really doesn't. That is how this tilts. It's attached here, and it just tilts back and forth. And it does a similar thing here. You can see it's almost the exact same mechanism. Only because it's loose, as soon as you put any tension on it, you can no longer twist it. It locks. So you have to, like, bring it in, figure out which way you want to point it. And as soon as you open it up, you can't untwist it without doing damaging to it. So when I was wearing them, as I've been sitting here wearing them, or putting them on my recording rig for sound demo, you have to sort of like figure out exactly the angle you want. Then start applying pressure so that you may place them on your head and they're sitting flat. Otherwise, you put them on your head and they just stay whatever janky way they were. They won't auto-center. I'm going to call that as an age problem. Okay. Out of that, hit that button. Yes, tubes. See, that's the thing about HD600s. I know that they're very neutral and very accurate and very, I want to say warmer than I remember. I like comparing them to something like this. I'm saying, oh, those are the warm set. But then you throw them on tubes and you get that width and that soundstage. It ups it a bit. I'm pretty sure I could plug both of these in at the same time. It's a $6,000 tube amp with 8 watts per channel. It better be able to handle 2 pairs of headphones. Immediate fire. Just immediately on fire. I prefer... These have like creamier mids, and like right where mid-range turns into treble, there's more detail. And that could just be an age thing. There literally doesn't need to be like, these could sound nothing like they did from factory. But they sound more open. That's the beautiful thing about these, is first of all, they're more comfortable. I think anyone can tell you that Sennheiser clamp is fine for about 28 minutes. And then it's like, fuck. We go through, us audiophiles go through it. And we don't want to remove the clamp because that would ruin the way it fits. And it's like, we're just masochists. I love how those have both naturally found their loops. We're both masochists, and we just need it to be absolutely the way it was. So I'm okay with the way it's clamping. Surprisingly, they have very similar. When I was here on the matching 789s, they have very similar power requirements. Only the 600s are up a little bit more on this. Just a touch more. I'm going to shut those off. We're not going back to solid state anymore. Solid state's done. In fact, we're going to swap. Oh, I forgot these locked. I love when things lock. Isn't that the greatest? We're going to... Static X. Crystal Method. String Quartet. There we go. They're doing Tool, Hooker with a Penis. See, because it's like, you get it? It's the Z reviews. It's like, oh, it's classy. It's a string quartet. But they're doing Tool, Hooker with a Penis. So it's still Z reviews. Out. Out. Find the hole. Adjust your straightness. Yeah, these are the sound state. This is what HD650 should have been. HD650 should have been based off the Ovations. Because it's not as warm. It's a little bit lighter. I'm going to say lighter, like fluffier. less and more ah. And then you add that width, and it's like, oh. They still image like a bastard. Oh my god, it's just. I've listened to a couple vintage headphones in this channel, like the Koss, those crazy Koss. I did an old set of Panasonics, maybe some old Sonys, if I'm thinking back in the day. And I wouldn't really recommend them for any reason other than vintageness. Like, oh, you got a vintage set of these. Those are cool. These, frankly, aren't very cool looking. They're like a blue-gray plastic, and he says something's broken off the top. It looks like there was something up here screwed in, and there's a place where a clip like this should be, and that's just gone. But that's fine. I don't care about that. And actually, if this and that are the same, he should be able to put an HD600 headband on it, although that would probably make the clamp come back. And then I would worry about it snapping these plastic members because you're putting more stress on it. So, unlike the Koss that were vintage, I would not recommend these for the cool factor. I would recommend them for the sound. Because that should be the prime... These need to be greased. That would be the primary thing. These could absolutely fall into a category on my... I don't know if I put them on my wall. They were only $150 when they were new. And someone said that they were Sennheisers back in the day, like they're almost top of the line. The 580s was like a little bit more. And then they went to the Ovation was like the upper model. I don't quite grasp how it went down. I'm sure there'll be some sort of internet historian that'll post things in the comments explaining to everyone how I'm wrong and how this is how it actually went down. You see, the Queen, she decided to put into Parliament that this would... Go on. I'll wait here. Hey, put it down there. I dare you. Do I like this more on the fucking dark voice than I do this? No, okay. I thought it was crazy for a second. I'm like, haha, because this is using the DAC in it too. Oh my god, the cream. This is. I wish the owner could hear it, but it's like. This is the best these headphones have ever sounded. I guarantee you. And I want to keep listening to music, but I know it's blasting for you, and that means it's blasting for the internet, and that means YouTube's bots are ready to demonetize this video. So thank you for supporting me on Patreon or Subscribestar, because I've gotten more and more emails. This is like a little side man. I've gotten an email or two a day telling me that, oh, this video has been demonetized because content matches. They're not blocked. They're just, no, we're not going to give you any money. And it's not stopped for 3 or 4 weeks. I think they're just trying to not pay anybody. So they're just, everything's a match now. Everything, from every song you've ever done, in every video, on every channel. So really, thank you to my patrons and Subscribestar people and anyone who follows me and throws money, because I'd love to be able to do this for a while longer, and YouTube's making that fucking difficult. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If these were a brand new set of Sennheisers, and they were called the HD565s, and they had a slight update of this, like this, the ness of it, I would absolutely give these 100% recommendation. These are fucking great. They're a little more... Here, we'll pop these back on. We're going to start this song over again. I'm going to even unplug this so we don't have any sort of weird impedance issues, even though this should not give a fuck. The 600s are less exciting to listen to. The 6.5, the Ovations, the 5.65 Ovations are more actually what I'm looking for in a pleasure headphone, but with underpinnings of being the predecessor of the HD600 and this line of amazement. You know, the headphone that I painted, put my logo on it and everything. This birthed from that, and when they made this, I'm sure they had their reasons to go and, you know, make, it was specifically tuned to be narrower and more accurate. But then the HD650s, everyone was always like, oh, those are the ones that are more fun. Those are the more V-shaped. And they were so fucking close, I couldn't tell. So I would say these are probably what the HD650s should have been. 600s are bare bones, straight at the ground, neutral, mid-bass, maybe it's like a little bit warm. You throw a tube on them and they get a little more fun, a little more enjoyable. But these are just straight up enjoyable. So bravo, Sennheiser. And then fuck you, Sennheiser. Bring these back. Or tune a headphone that sounds like this. All the Sennheiser headphones are so German now. Like, the only reason I love my 600s as much as I do is because tubes exist. If I had to listen to these only on solid state, I'd be much less impressed by them. Tubes can go in there and insert a little bit of fun. Giggity. Tubes can insert a fun. I get it now. I get it. But where am I? What am I plugged into? What is this? Who am I? Yeah, I enjoy my HD600s when they're being twisted by a tube and they go from that perfect German flatness. She's not actually German, but perfect German flatness to something that's, you know, got soundstage, and maybe the mid-range is a little bit off, but it's okay because I'm smiling while listening to music. These are listen to music and smile headphones, and these are listen to music with a tube and smile headphones, but also if you put them in a solid state, they're sort of more deadpan. And I love my 600s, but I kind of love the Ovations as well. Like it's one of those, like there's no losers here. We're all winners. Especially the owner of these, because he's going to get them back and be like, oh shit. So I don't think they sound exactly the same. And I don't think they're that close. But it feels like Sennheiser made it. And they're using the exact same shaped pad and positioned driver and headband sort of thing. So it gives all this resonance of the old becoming the new, but you kind of miss the old vintage. It's kind of like carburetors. Like, no one wants a carburetor. Nobody wants a fucking carburetor. It's just that, throttle body injection is not great. And you ever wants, direct injection would be great, fucking great, but it's expensive and it's complicated. But, people remember back and like, oh man, I miss having a carburetor. No, you don't. No, you don't. But this is one of those muscle car moments where it's like, yeah, you know what? 70s and 60s cars were more fun than like 80s and 90s cars. They just were. They were also prettier. That's not the case of these. These are not fucking pretty. These are some ugly fucking dogs. You ugly. You are straight like virtual reality. I could see someone wearing these in a movie in like the mid 90s, like Demolition Man. They would have been sitting at a console and that would have been the future. And it would have been like, oh, look at these lines, these like Aliens, the sequel, would have had headphones like this in it. So they definitely did improve that with the clean lines of the 600 and the way that this yoke, just barely fits over this and doesn't cover part of the driver. So looks department, oof. This cable is doing a lot to improve their looks. Sound department, there wasn't much wrong with these. Unless Sennheiser was specifically trying to make 600s and they failed, and this is what came out, and it was a great failure. I don't know what else to tell you about them. I think if you can get a set in good nick for less than, if it's really good shape and it's under $200, this is a 200. This is worth. These sound at least as good as a $200 plus headphone. It's just a matter of finding ones that aren't destroyed by time and destroyed by use, or just destroyed. So give a look. Don't worry about cables either, because Sennheiser cables haven't changed apparently since the dawn of Christ. Like I got this pair on there, and it's just fine. Plug it into your $6,000 German tube DAC amp, which of course these are Irish, so there's a little bit of a conflict there, but it's fine. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with these. I wish they would come back. I would give them a hearty thank you, and I would hope that they're priced properly, and then I would understand where they fit in the line. Because the 500 series that Sennheiser currently has is sort of like, it's aimless. Everything is like, they didn't start with a good enough bass, and then it's all like, well, these are like the little bit bassier ones, these are the sharp ones, these are closed. Like, the whole series just feels cheap. It sounds cheap. It sounds like it belongs at its price range. And these, you could probably, in a brand new revision, sell these for $200-300. And I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what those worth. Have you heard them? Yeah, they sound really good. They fucking, the image, they sound like a broken pair of HD600s that got more soundstage and has a looser clamp. It's a whole different feel. I'm gonna go back to listening to them now. I think I don't have much more to praise about them. They got me to use the Shinobu wallpaper. You should all be very happy. So these, I can't link to them. I'll find something to link to. And then the HD600s, HD650s, those are still, I think those are ending soon, actually. Like where this disappeared and they should have never stopped making it, there's a chance that Sennheiser will stop making this, and the exact same words will come out of my mouth. What? Sennheiser stopped making HD600s? What are they, dumb? You don't stop making your winners. Many companies just stop making the winners because they got to move on, and you don't. Nostalgia is great. We want to keep buying HD600s till the end of time. It's just that, do fix this though. This is, no. Anyway, that's enough of this. I'll link to things. Sound demos in the description. It came out okay. Not 100% great. It was doing weird things with like the microphones, which I don't know if that's something to do with where the magnet structures are placed, but I did my best to sort of critique where it was placed and get that out. So that's linked in the description. Shinobu's in the description. Patreon and Subscribestar are in the description. I'm gonna shut the dad off because we're done with you sleep while this wakes up. Patreon and Subscribestar in the description. I'm being real careful with this, by the way, because if this breaks, actually if it breaks, it's still all Sennheiser parts. You just buy another one. Check out Hi-Fi Guides. And the Hi-Fi Guide forums, where if mods are doing their jobs, you should see a 565 Ovation thread official, even though this is dirt old, and you should be able to comment on it. If you have one, if you've ever heard one, what do you think about it? Yeah, no, this might be the best vintage headphone I've ever listened to. If you want to qualify this as vintage, I don't know if you want to start that like pre-90s, 89 last sold. 79 last sold? I don't know. You guys discuss that in the comments or on the forums. And again, I'm being careful with them. I'm trying not to blow them up. Sound demo description. Check that out. I'm done here. Thank you for stopping by. Yard sales, this will not be in. Ask me any question you want on Patreon or Subscribestar. That's fine. I really shouldn't go a lot, but behind the scenes Telegram, they're getting a kick out of this. I'm gonna send them all sorts of I'm gonna send this picture of the guy who made this cables in the patronage chat. So if you ever want to spend like, I don't know, he said he would never build it like this again. It took too goddamn long, but I'm pretty sure if you waved enough $100 bills in his face, he'd consider it. So I mean, get on that, because this thing is jewelry level headphone cable. Doesn't make it sound any better, I guarantee you. But my God. So, moving on. See you tomorrow. Check the sound demo, and peace.